Sebastián Varela from La Tercera. Another match against an ex-gen. Would you describe the difference, positive and negatives, between these players and your generation, Nalbandian, Roddy, Gonzalez, etc.?
If it's, what's the question?
Would you describe the difference?
The difference?
The next gen and your generation?
Ours was called New Balls Please campaign. I remember that, and they had a lot of more older guys in there. I remember Guga was in it, and Tommy Haas, and everybody was great. No, I mean, in a way it's similar because it's a bunch of them, which is what we need. We need not just one or two guys coming up, but 10, and that seems what's happening right now. They seem all like totally different characters. I guess that's similar to what we were back then. We were all very different to one another. And of course, one's always going to make the move earlier, but then the rest of the group is going to look towards that guy and try to imitate him and surpass him. So I think it's a great initiative, next gen. And France has done really well as well this year. Has moved up the rankings. Got a taste now of Arthur Ashe, how it is to play against top players, and he's only going to learn from a match like this and become better. But obviously our generation also was very strong, and we went on to become many of us became like top 5 players. So I wish the same for them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. At Wimbledon, you had plenty of tough moments, but you went through without losing a set. Some said it was like a sublime run. Here tonight it was messy, it was loud, 5 really tough sets, a street fight. My question relates to a quote from Jimmy Connors during his '91 run, when he said to the crowd, "This is what they want. This is what they'll get." Mm-hmm. Do you think tonight the crowd got what they wanted and you got what they wanted?
I think in many ways people were hoping for a good battle between the next gen and somebody established like myself. In many ways also it felt like people were happy to see me again after missing last year. I felt like the energy was in the building and they were very excited about seeing me back on court, and especially after the year that I've had. There seemed really a good crowd support for both players. It was a lot of fun playing in that atmosphere, and then you don't want to see the one-sided clash. So I think the people did get what they want. They got a back and forth in bigger swings than what we normally used to, in the men's game, where it stays much more close in sets, not usually 6-2, 6-1, sets. You don't see those very often, but the court plays on the slower side, so it can happen this way. Yeah, and then at the end was the drama, the back and forth. So it was very exciting, and I really enjoyed myself, even though maybe I also was tired and nervous at the end, but it was very cool to be part of that match.
You contributed to a great match tonight. What do you attest to the fact that you might, for lack of a better word, got off to a slow start?
Why that is, you think?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just think I didn't have the preparation. I was hoping to get, since Montreal focus has been more on the back and sort of just making sure I can play the tournament rather than being well prepared. I always knew I was going to come in feeling rusty or not great, but I was hoping to start better. I really struggled early on, and I think Francis connected well, and I just really kind of lost my footing sometimes. My eye wasn't working. I was missing, misjudging distance, and then I just I think I was also being a bit cautious with my movement, and then in the second set I think it all started to come together. That was good, but then because of the preparation being not the best that I've had, I think I was quite up and down, and every time I was down, Francis took care of it. And then in the fifth, it was just more of get the energy back, play to win, don't just play to hope that he will miss. And I think I did that, so I'm really, really excited that I won tonight, so I'm very happy.
Hi, Roger. Hey. Francis, only 19, playing tonight on one of the biggest stages in the game. the pressure of that moment is obviously something you understand.
Yeah.
When you think back to the beginning stages of your career and the beginning of your success, what do you wish you had known, or what do you wish you'd been more aware of then?
Nothing really. I think the unknown is the exciting bit, to be quite honest. Not knowing how you're going to feel in the fifth set, not knowing how you're going to feel serving against a match at 5-4 in the fifth, not knowing how it feels to be broken, 3 straight times, but still having a chance, because in these best of 5 set matches you have a lot of lives, sometimes. So it's just important to go through all these emotional roller coasters early, the rush of getting crowd support, then the feeling like, ooh, I gotta produce something so the crowd gets back into it, and feeling that pressure is not fun, but it's part of what you go through. So I think the unknown was actually extremely exhilarating back in the day.
Roger, you mentioned you're back in your on-court interview after the match.
I was asked.
Yeah. Fair enough. Did it bother you at all tonight? How was it feeling? And after a 5-set match like this in the opening round, do you take any extra steps now in your recovery? What does that kind of entail, maybe that it didn't 2 years ago?
No, I mean, I'm very happy that I'm feeling as good as I'm feeling right now. And honestly, if I would have felt like that going into this tournament that my back was going to get worse every match, I probably wouldn't have played. So my hope and my belief is that it's going to only get better from here, because every time, every day that goes by puts me further away from what happened in Montreal. So that's how I see it. And I'm very happy how I'm feeling right now, how I felt coming off the court. And I think there's a lot of positives for me to look at, that I can come through a 5-setter with the preparation that I had. And, I was definitely also lucky to play tonight because the rain, others got all pushed over to tomorrow. So that would have been tougher for me maybe to back it up back-to-back days. But even that, look, if I enter the tournaments because I believe I can play and go deep, and I still believe that, and I think this is actually going to give me a lot of confidence, because in the first set, really, I was just seeing and feeling it, and see how far I could push, but I was never in pain, so it was okay, and that's why when I was down a set, I just said, okay, the match starts here, 1 set all. I said, okay, it's like a best of 3 set match. Being in the 5th set, I said, it's great. I'm still in the match, so things are actually great. So I always try to keep a very positive mindset out there.
Last one. Yeah, this was your first match under the roof.
Yep.
Do you think that took you by surprise, the way it played, because it plays differently now with the roof compared to where it was before?
No, not really. I warmed up under the roof actually after Rafa and Ostapenko won, so I had a chance to warm up under the roof, which gave me a bit of a feel for it. It was more of a surprise how the court felt back in 15 when the structure was on, so the dome feel was there, and I was just really surprised how little sunshine we get in the court now and how little wind gets into the court. So I think the tournament's changed forever, in this way, because this used to be more like the windy slam, so this is kind of changed if you play on center. Of course, other people still get moved back and forth often on center, but it definitely makes for better playing conditions. And I would think down the stretch, if you look at the next 100 years, it's going to favor the better player, because the wind is a bit of an equalizer, so is the sunshine sometimes.
Last one.
Roger, Rafa mentioned the noise, though, as made it difficult for him to hear how the ball was coming off the rack and stuff. Was that something you had to get used to?
No, not too much. I expected worse, because I heard comments like this, and I heard last year that it was apparently also very loud and all that. I didn't think it was that bad, to be honest. And I think when the crowd really got into it, it was really cool. It was great atmosphere, and it was loud. It was louder than what I'm really used to. Not that it wasn't loud before, but I just think it comes back down onto the court, and I think it's really nice actually.